Chicago has many recycling companies, but three main ones are Lakeshore Recycling Systems, Waste Management, and the City of Chicago Streets and Sanitation. Surprisingly, two of these offer collections for food waste, but I've never heard from anybody in Chicago say that they have food waste collection services done through one of these companies. If anybody does compost, it's usually through a private compost company, and the customers usually pay a fee for those services. When I looked at the websites of these recycling companies, I noticed they mentioned that we should do our part and recycle so landfills don't get filled with mountains of trash. But they don't mention that most recycling, either way, goes into the landfill. Here in Chicago, less than 9% of the trash gets recycled. That's the lowest compared to other major cities in the US. The recycling companies might say that it is because the public doesn't know how to recycle and they put items that contaminate other items that could actually be recycled. Here are some reasons why recycling isn't working according to companies. The public doesn't follow the guidelines, the equipment is not up to date to the recycling efficiently, therefore more money is wasted than earned in the recycling business. And then a lot of plastics have chemicals that they cannot be recycled. Bins get labeled contaminated once companies think that they contain items that cannot be recycled. Once that bin gets labeled, it gets taken to the landfill. Other cities give their residents a chance to go through their recycling bin and fix the problem. Chicago doesn't do that. Other issues that we have is that some say that there is a commission involved when a bin gets taken to the landfill. Like the companies get extra money for doing the recycling, but also for taking that recycling bin and taking it to the landfill as trash. Others say that recycling is a distraction from the real problem, which is the plastic industry, which might be true. But whichever it is, we need to make sure to fix this problem.
The City of Chicago has the resources and capability to be a leader in sustainability and efficient waste management. Our proposal would build the foundation in order to meet the goal of diverting 80% of landfill-bound waste in the City of Chicago. Our policy alternatives include the implementation of multi-stream recycling through the Eco Chicago initiative. Our group plans to pass a city ordinance called the Eco Chicago Initiative. Multi-stream recycling allows residents to separate various recyclable items to avoid any contamination, which diverts the need for waste to be sent to landfill. Our programs would provide the proper bins for multi-stream recycling, composting, and landfill-bound waste to residents and businesses. To ensure the success of this program, there would need to be a task force created consisting of members from the Environmental Health and Safety Management Department of the City of Chicago, employees of the local recycling companies that are assigned to different areas of Chicago. They would be responsible for the areas they already service. This task force would conduct extensive, multilingual, door-to-door outreach to residents, property owners, and businesses to answer questions about multi-stream recycling and the Eco Chicago Initiative. The Eco Chicago Initiative will also include a series of perks and rewards through partnerships and collaborations with local businesses to encourage participation and cooperation.
Many cities across the country are already reforming their waste management systems to make them more efficient and eco-friendly, and have shown that impactful diversion of landfill-bound waste is not only possible, but well within the reach of all cities, including Chicago. In 2002, San Francisco set the ambitious goal of achieving 75% diversion of landfill waste in 2010, and in 2003 declared that they would be zero waste by 2020. In order to do this, the city implemented many green initiatives and ordinances. Most notably, in 2009, the city passed the Mandatory Recycling and Composting Ordinance, which mandated that all residents must separate recyclables, compostables, and landfill trash and participate in recycling and composting programs. In order to make the program more successful, the city's Department of the Environment conducts extensive, multilingual door-to-door outreach to residents and businesses to answer questions about recycling and composting and to notify residents if they are sorting incorrectly. They also use the Fantastic 3 program to make recycling and composting simpler and user-friendly. There is a blue bin for recyclables, a green bin for compostables, and a black bin for landfill-bound waste. The city incentivizes its residents and businesses to comply through structuring the waste rate structure to reward residents who recycle and compost more. San Francisco has been extremely successful in its zero waste efforts. In 2012, the mayor announced that San Francisco had achieved 80% diversion of landfill waste, which set records as the city had been found to have the highest recycling and compost rate of any city in North America. In 2007, Seattle first passed a zero waste resolution, then in 2010 published their zero waste strategy, which outlined their plans to limit landfill-bound waste. Their main priority was to limit the amount of waste generated and then further reduce what waste would be sent to landfills. To do this, they bolstered many existing programs to encourage residents to reuse more of their products, as well as creating new ones that promoted sustainable building programs, as well as to improve the recycling and compost rate within the city. In 2006, the city implemented a mandatory recycling ordinance. Though there was originally a lot of concern regarding the enforceability of the statute, the program has seen a lot of success. When it was first implemented, around 90% of businesses and residents complied, and over time that number has grown. At any business or residence where a trash bin is found to contain more than 10% of recyclable material, a tag is left notifying the resident that they are out of compliance. Upon being issued the third tag, the resident or business would have to pay a $50 fine. Then in 2015, Seattle passed a mandatory composting ordinance. Similarly to the recycling ordinance, if any business or resident is found to have more than 10% of food waste in their garbage bin, they will be issued a warning and eventually a fine. Seattle has been extremely successful in diverting waste, as citywide per capita disposal has been steadily decreasing since 2000 and is currently at an all-time low. Additionally, in 2017, Seattle recycled 56.9% of its municipal solid waste, which is 30% higher than before the recycling ordinance was put into place. San Jose has been prioritizing waste management for nearly half a century and is recognized as a national leader of effective waste management. They employ a variable rate structure within the residential system that incentivizes residents to recycle more, with several different tiers that reward different levels of diversion. They also use a pay-as-you-throw rate structure for landfill-bound waste. Similar to other utilities such as gas and water, under this pay structure, residents pay less for throwing away less. This type of waste structure, with which San Jose first adopted in 1993, allows residents to choose from 32-gallon, 64-gallon, and 96-gallon trash carts. The program has had quite a lot of success. Today, 86% of all households use the smallest cart offered. 1 year after the city implemented pay-as-you-throw, recycling increased by 149% and diverted lawn trimmings went up by 45%.